continues, I think.
I'd like to welcome everybody this weekend and call this meeting to order. My name is Adam Eichelberger. First thing we start off tonight with is our invocation. It's going to be led tonight by student Laurel Coffey. Yep, please stand.
There you go.
Dear God, thank you for our school, our teachers, and our families, and our friends. Thank you for our community that loves and helps us. Please bless our leaders as they make good choices and help us grow and learn.
Amen. Thank you, Laura. Jay, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on our agenda is the affirmation of our agenda.
I make a motion that we affirm the agenda as printed.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So second on our agenda is the approval from last meeting. Right here in your set.
I'll make a motion that we approve our minutes from last meeting as stated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any board comments this week? Nope. So, and there are no public comments that were signed up for this meeting this time. So the first thing we're going to do next is we start off with the 96 Primary School Heart of the Wildcat recognition, Ms. Weeks.
Good evening. Our staff at 96 Primary School has the opportunity each month to vote on and recognize a Teacher of the Month. 96 Primary School is proud to recognize Ms. Deidre Frazier, our dedicated special education teacher, as August Teacher of the Month. Ms. Frazier, if you want to come on up. Ms. Frazier goes above and beyond each day to ensure that every student feels supported, valued, empowered to reach their full potential. Ms. Frazier constantly looks for ways to fill her teacher toolbox with strategies to implement her students' needs. She is always ready to learn and open to suggestions. Because of these things, her students thrive. She looks at each of her students individually to meet their needs. Her patience, creativity, and genuine care for children shine through in all that she does. What I love the most about Ms. Frazier is that she is a lifelong member of the 96 community, a 96 high school graduate, and she began her career at 96 Primary School as a special education teacher assistant. She chose to go back to school to become a special education teacher, and it has been a joy to watch her excel in her new career. We're very grateful for her positive spirit, her commitment to building strong relationships, and the many ways that she helps our Wildcat Cubs soar. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll have the recognition of the Greenwood District 52 Maintenance Department. Andrew Mackey will come lead us in that.
All right, so we have like a special Heart of the Wildcat for our maintenance guys tonight. You know, everyone that works for our district, I think everyone appreciates everything these guys do, but they're still probably underappreciated. These guys do everything for us, no matter how big or small the job is. They'll be on roofs, fixing HVAC units. They do plumbing, whether that be unclogging toilets, running new pipe for ice machines, fixing water lines after hours. They'll dig up gas lines and replace leaks for gas lines. But they also help take mail between the schools. They do the sign at the primary school. They move furniture. They put furniture together. I mean, really, if anyone needs help in our district, David Rourke's phone call rings. I'm sure he gets more phone calls than anyone in our district. Because of their ability and everything they're able to do for us, they save our district a lot of money on labor costs. If we had to pick up the phone and call a company every time we had a compressor go out or a leak or somewhere, our maintenance costs would be through the roof. David tells his guys that if they can't pay for their own salary every year and work they're able to do, then they're not doing their job. So, I mean, it's something they take a lot of pride in. They were huge during Hurricane Helene. Actually, they were in their 200 building as the hurricane blew through. I think I got a picture of Britain with his head out the door. So they do meteorology also. And so, you know, that happened while we were on break, and so they were able to get a bunch of trees picked up, cleaned up, sort of spruced everything up. So when kids came back to school, there was really, I mean, there was still evidence of it, but it looked pretty good. So they also helped, like when we did this old high school project, you know, they helped sort of, they had a hand in literally helping design some of the new utilities, how they were going to connect to the old existing utilities. They helped fix issues that came up that they needed. Our two superintendents from Hood Construction called them the best school facility people they'd ever worked with. So they were really just instrumental to our district. They work all year, over breaks, at night, on call, after hours, in the heat, in the cold. These guys really do it all. So they keep our district running smoothly. So our maintenance guys are our maintenance director, David Rourke, Danny Ballantyne, Britton Stone, and then, you know, our longtime maintenance guy, Tony Black, retired in June. He had physically small shoes, but he had big shoes to fill figuratively. And our new guy, Andrew Ashley's done a great job coming in and picking up right where Tony left off. So if we can give these guys a round of applause. I was going to say.
Thank y'all for everything you do also. I know y'all are critical to everything that we do here at our district also. So now we're going to have a special recognition tonight for the Mill Village banner winners, Miss Mary Ann Goodman and Miss Deborah Cochran. If y'all can come up and make that presentation, please.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor, School Board, for allowing us to come and honor the students that took part in our 96 Mill Village Neighborhood Association project. I came up with the vision, and I told Debbie to make it happen. Debbie is the Vice President of Mill Village Association, and she's gonna take it from here.
All right. Well, when we began planning the 100th anniversary of the Mill Village, one of our goals was to unite the community. I had to write this because I forgot it when we did it the other night. I did it the other night for somebody totally forgot this, so I apologize. One of our goals was to unite the community in a meaningful way. We knew we wanted to involve the children of 96 and the schools so that they could feel part of this history and celebration. And that idea became the banner and flag project that we had. We provided the art teachers with pre-cut art paper and a presentation to help inspire their students to understand the history of the Mill Village. What we received back far surpassed our expectations. There were over 350 submissions. Crazy. Each one creative and thoughtful. And when we only were able to choose 4, it was very, very difficult. And Marianne kept saying, "Can't we give them all an award?" In any case, the students and teachers should be extremely proud of what they have done. We appreciate that. And today, the new banners are displayed throughout our neighborhood, where they will remain until Christmas. So first, I would like to recognize the art teachers who took the idea and brought it to life in their classrooms. And many even researched the community and deepened the story for their students. And this not only built a pride in the Mill Village, but also gave students a sense of connection and community, and that's what we were told. Now, that didn't come from me, that's what we were told, so that's exciting. Miss Vanessa Taylor and Miss Mary Thompson, can you come on up at this point? If you're both here? Yes, you are. They did an amazing job with their students. They kept calling and going, when can we tell them? When can we tell them? And so now, you know, we have told them, and we have a gift for you that we would like to give you.
On behalf of the Mill Village Neighborhood Association, thank you for a wonderful job that you did.
And please stay up here so you can help us with the other part. Okay, and we just wanted to thank you for all that they did for the students and for us as well. And now it's my honor to announce our 4 student winners. And each is going to receive a very large check here in just a moment. And their banner design that is already being displayed in the village, and also the banners that you see here that we're going to show you before we bring them up, are going to be given to the school. So, our first person is Blakely Berry. Blakely Berry created this design, and she's a 2nd grader at the primary school, correct? Can you turn that around so the board can see them? Oh,
It's in the back.
I'm
It's
so
on the back.
sorry.
No, it's on the back. We-
Okay,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, we can see it.
Back.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we go. So, Blakely,
Good job,
you want me to, I'll let you hand it to him. How's that? That'll work.
Blakely, we're gonna present you with this big old check. But I'm also gonna give you this, the real one. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, you can keep
that.
it if you want it.
And then whatever. Okay, sorry. I think what we'll do is we'll take a picture outside in just a few minutes with all of them. All right, so now I'd like to present a check as well to J.T. Gonzalez. He's a 4th grader at 96 Elementary. Oh, there you go. And let me show, 5th grader. Oh, I'm so sorry, I had that wrong the entire time. You want to hold it for them? Show them what you did. Look at that.
Cool.
You can turn it around if you want to.
No, we can see it. We can see it. That's
Well,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. No, they'll be right. They can see
All
it.
right.
Can you see it, Logan?
So that was amazing, and the check, you did a check here, we'll hand that to your art teacher. There we go.
I would not judge this schools because my granddaughter teaches there, and it so happened that they picked a child in her class. You're in Miss Wells' class, aren't you? Yes. I promise y'all I had nothing to do with that. And here's your real money.
Thank you. Next is from the middle school, right? Yes, middle school. And this is done by Hannah Royal. So Hannah Royal, are you in 7th grade, is that correct? Make sure I have it right this time. There you go, you can hold that for them to show them. That's a really nice banner. We
love the
it.
color too.
And hopefully you've been seeing them around the area. And the check.
And there's your real check.
We gave the students all kinds of ways that they were allowed to do the art. They could draw by hand, they could they could trace over something if they wanted to. They could, you guys probably know better what you told them that they could do. Go ahead. Let me let I freaked the wrong material. No, I said that they could do any kind of graphic arts that they wanted to do, or they could use photographs of any kind. And this is the one done by Grady Weidman from the 96 high school.
Grady.
Very good, Grady. Here's this fake $50. Here's real big money. Thank you.
on if you'd like, or you can stay up here for this too, it's
Yeah,
fine.
You know, I worked at the school for a while. Ms. Anderson gave me a job in the cafeteria, and I got to know the kids. And if you know me, you know I would never do anything to hurt a kid's feelings. So, every child that participated is going to get a backpack.
That's awesome. Nice. Yeah.
We're not sure
That's
exactly.
really
if we're
awesome.
So, and we appreciate all the hard work that the students put into it. We've had so many parents comment about how the art teachers taught the children the history of the Mill Village. And then we had a couple that attended our Saturday's fiesta that we had at the mill site. And I wanted to show this one thing. Not every student got a banner, but one student who was 12th grade did artwork, and I noticed, I said, oh, that's my church. And so I took that picture, Debbie let me use it, and I took that to our person that does our bulletins, and I said, can you do a church bulletin? And she did, and we honored this student at our church a couple weeks or so ago. And it's just great that she did this. And we had another one that did Temple Baptist Church. I did not have their artwork, if they did a bulletin or not. Then we had one student whose family put the artwork on t-shirts, and they wore, the whole family wore them Saturday. So it's been a neighborhood project, and thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for allowing us to be a part of the school district and do this.
Yeah, we hope to
Thank you.
collaborate with y'all again sometime soon. Our teacher said it really helped at the beginning of the school year to have this community event that we had, so thank you.
Thank you.
What a great project. We really appreciate y'all including our students in that project. I'm sure it brought a lot of the community together, and what a nice time to share. And again, congratulations to the other recognitions tonight. We appreciate everyone. Now we get more of the business section of the meeting, so I know JT has a football game. So, and if anybody else needs to head out. So,
Everybody's Billy.
yes,
Go.
I'll just wait just a second. Okay.
How are you? I'm good. Good to see you.
Yes.
They had, there's probably close to 100 people at the.
Okay, now it's Dr. Taylor's turn. I'm going to turn it over to her for superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Eichelberger. We are, in our packet, we have field trips, professional leave requests, and fundraiser requests. And we do have a number of overnight field trips in there. I think I counted 6 overnight. Okay.
So we need a motion to approve the overnight requests.
Please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the overnight field trip request.
I second. Any motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Thank you. And then we also have a parenting report that is included in the packet. Do you have any questions about that?
Anyone have any questions? Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Dr. Taylor. So now we go into instruction with Mr. Schofield.
All right. Good evening. I'm not going to adjust this too much. Y'all can hear me. I've got results. I know we've pushed this stuff out lately on social media. As soon as we were able to, we're very proud of what the school district was able to accomplish last year as far as testing is concerned. We've had this information for a little while, but the state embargoed a lot of it until September 2nd, the day after Labor Day, a week ago, last Tuesday. And so this is the first opportunity that we've had to be able to show all this information in public forum. I have a 245 slide presentation to show you tonight, and I'm just kidding, I really don't. But I do want to hit the highlights so that you guys can be aware of just how much we were able to accomplish last year in testing. So, without further ado, we start out with our ready data and implementation review, math review, starting at the primary school. The primary school does not have high stakes end of the year state testing. That only starts in 3rd grade, and so kindergarten through 2nd grade, we use our ready to show exactly what they've been able to do. And so, explaining the numbers here a little bit. So the column that is on the far right is with the way that we finished, and this is all of the math combined, kindergarten through 2nd grade at the end of the year. Okay, so you see the plus 36. So the first column is the national norm. The second column is the national year-to-date measures, and then the third column is the South Carolina year-to-date. Everybody doesn't take iReady, so it compares it against the schools in South Carolina that do iReady kindergarten through 2nd grade. So if you look at the green is good, okay? So first notice that the green is a lot bigger than the red, okay? So the dark green means that they are on, really the dark green and the light green means that they're on grade level. Either they're above grade level or they're just on grade level. So that's all of the green combined. The yellow means that they're 1 grade level below, and then your red goes to where you're 2 or 3 grade levels below. So you obviously want to minimize what you have in the red, you want to maximize what you have in the green. So the plus numbers show you the difference in how much we increased over these different categories. So based on the first column, the national norms, we are 7 points higher, 7 percentage points of students higher than the national norm. We are 12 percentage points higher than the national at the year to date, and this is from the spring implementation, and 12 points higher than the state norm. So the state has their kindergarten through 2nd grade at a 48% clip, or on grade level or above. As a district at the primary school, we are at 60% on grade level or above. So we are way higher. The numbers at the bottom, the minuses, show you how much lower we have in the red. So we are 6 points lower than the first column, 9 points lower than the second, 9 points lower than the third column. And so overall, we are much lower as far as the students that we have 2 and 3 grade levels below. For our district, for our primary school. I say district, it's all the primary school that does this. Okay, so then we can break it down by grade level. Grade level has the same columns, but it compares it in kindergarten, 1st grade, and 2nd grade for what we have. And this is just end of the year view for what we have for this. So compared against each column. Kindergarten, well in advance in all 3. 1st grade, also well in advance of all 3. 2nd grade, a little bit below, but those are almost negligible percentages down there. But if you still look down at the bottom, our red and the number of students, the percentage of students that we have that are 2 and 3 grade levels below are much lower than they are in each one of them on all 3 grade levels. We have no red on kindergarten because you can't be 2 grade levels below when you're in kindergarten. But then you have 1st grade, and then you have 2nd grade on there for that. Okay? Moving forward. Reading, similar situation. Reading, we are much higher as compared to national norms and the state for as overall as a school. This is all of it combined for this. So much higher in the green and lower in the red, which is where we want to be. And then broken down by grade level as well. Same thing, kindergarten, 1st grade in the middle, and then 2nd grade on the right. We know that we have some work to do with the students that are in 2nd grade. They're in 3rd grade now. They've moved up. But again, looking at the bottom, we are much we have less students that are multiple grade levels below than what there are both in the nation and in the state. So even with the numbers maybe not as high in the greens, we are lower in the reds, okay? And we didn't put on the beginning of the year view. If you'd have seen how much they moved from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, it's absolutely ridiculous, tremendous growth that they had here, but we're just showing end of the year view for this, okay? Moving on, 96 Elementary School, SC Ready, comparison to state averages. Obviously, we don't have national comparisons because they don't take SC Ready. So in ELA, third grade was 2 points above the state average. In ELA, fourth grade was almost 9 points above state average. And fifth grade is also about 6 points above state average for that. Math, similar, third grade is just slightly below state average. Fourth grade is 20 points above state average in math in fourth grade. Fifth grade is 24.5 points above state average. I'll give you some more information on those at the end of the presentation as well. Those aren't even close. Okay, you will see a common theme. Our district is way better at math than the rest of the state. I mean, not even close. And you'll see those in a little bit. Middle school, ELA numbers, sixth grade, less than a percentage point is right there at the state average for meets and exceeds. Seventh grade is 16 points above state average, and eighth grade is a little over 14, almost 15 points above state average in ELA. Math, sixth grade, 10 points above. Seventh grade, 18.5 points above. Eighth grade is 22.5 points above the state average for those. We are absolutely killing it across the board. Okay, science only test in fourth and sixth grade. In fourth grade science numbers are 18 points above state average, and sixth grade is about 8 points above state average. Okay, both of those doing well. Going to the high school, and of course, compared to state average, Algebra 1, state average is 53%, C and above, we are scoring almost 76%. At that point, English 2 is very high, at 70% is the state average, we're almost at 80. Biology is a little bit below state average at 40%, and U.S. history is right there, right on state average, half a point away from that. We've already identified those as areas of places where we need to grow. But the math and the ELA obviously have continued on into the high school as well. Okay? This last one's the one I want you to really take note of. There is a comparison of all of the districts in South Carolina. There's 75 school districts in South Carolina. 96, I only wanted to list the ones that we were in the top 10. There are 12 subjects where we are in the top 10 school districts in the state of South Carolina in these subjects. In math, 4th through 8th grade are all in the top 10 in the state.
Wow.
Highlighting 4th grade in second place. 5th grade, we have the number 1 scores in the state of South Carolina. In 5th grade math, our district is tops. 6th grade, 9th, 7th and 8th, 4th and 3rd. You go to ELA, 4th grade is an 8th, 7th grade is 2nd, 8th grade is 2nd in the state. 4th grade science is 2nd in the state, and then if you go to end of course, Algebra 1 is 4th, and English 2 is 6th. Absolutely tremendous scores for that. Every year we like to recognize our staff members that have come in first place in WEPAC. For those, we couldn't get it together because, like I said, we only had a week before these things were actually released about getting all that stuff done. And we also like to recognize our students that scored perfect on any subsections of their tests that they took. We're going to push that to November because our October board meeting is while we're in our session, and so we probably have quite a few folks that are going to be out of town. And so we're going to push that to recognize in November all of our staff members that taught a subject that was in one of the top groups in WEPAC, which we had several of those, and our students that scored perfect. So look forward to a long recognition portion of the school board meeting in November. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to entertain.
Looks great.
Yeah.
I like to say when they're as good as they are.
That's
I'm telling you
right.
what, the kids killed it, and the staff members are absolutely working their tails off, and this just shows all of the work that they've put in and to be rewarded for this. And so we are brag-worthy. We'd love to have a front page in the Chronicle. I'm not going to, drop any hints for that, but we love to be front page of the Chronicle for all the things that we do as the top district in WEPEC and one of the top districts in the state consistently for what we're doing. You saw on schooldigger.com, we were the 7th highest rated school district in the state of South Carolina. And that is something that we take a lot of pride in. We're glad to be there, but we realize that we've got work to do because we're not number one yet. So we want to continue to push to get to that point.
So with these rankings here, does it start at 4th grade or
Third.
Third grade? Okay.
Third grade. Yes, starts at 3rd grade. And of all of the ones that we recognize, like I said, I only recognize the top 10 or things that were in the top 10. I had a couple. I know 6th grade science was 12th highest. I think one of the might have been 3rd grade ELA might have been like 13. I mean, we were real close, but just to kind of highlight the fact that we're listed 12 times in the top 10 districts in the state. Dr. Taylor will tell you the same things that I'm telling you. We go to statewide meetings multiple times a month, and we go. They see 96, and a lot of times people sit down, they scoot over to you, and they're like, "All right, what are y'all doing? What's going on?" And I was like, "Well, we've been here for a while, so we're not really going anywhere. There's a lot of things that we're doing, but last year we had multiple districts that came, spent time with our principals, spent time in our schools to figure out what it is that we're doing in 96, and there's not one thing that we're doing. I mean, we just got fantastic people. We've got fantastic staff members and teachers that are working their tails off, and the kids are showing us their absolute best effort on end of the year testing. And we're thankful for all the hard work they've put in. Shepard, how many people came to the middle school last year? I think it was like you were getting one a week for a while.
It went for a while where, like I said, I had to tell people we couldn't do it anymore because I had so many groups coming in. But I think we had, at the end of the year, it was 9 middle schools from around the state that came. And I mean, they came from Andrew Jackson, from way down, I don't even know how far that is away, and from Liberty to Pickens to, I had one group actually came one time, and then somebody else came back from their school. They actually sent people back after they came the first time.
We had a school that came and looked at our district for math that actually scores, one of the few that scores higher than we do in math, but they want to figure out how we're catching them. Because they're upset because they know that their reign at the top is not going to last very long, and they want to know what we're doing to catch them. And we're like, I mean, that's like giving your playbook away in front of the Super Bowl. Like, what are you doing? Like, no, go away. No, I mean, we help them out as well, but at the same time, they like we've watched y'all for years, and y'all have gone from 30th to top 20 to in the teens, and now they're in single digits. And 5 of the 6 tested subjects in math were in the top 10 of the state. So.
And the 4th grade group that's evaluated here, that's 4th grade from last year, so these kids are in 5th grade this year.
These numbers are from last year's test scores, correct. So all of these students in these grade levels have moved up for a year. Yeah.
And so this is 4th through 8th grade.
Well, from what I showed you earlier from testing from the elementary school, it did show some 3rd grade scores.
Right.
In there. We know we've got some things that we're working on. Ms. Loudon has already put some of those things in place. This is the end of the year testing for that. So for this, these are just the ones that scored. If you notice, 4th grade is mentioned in math, ELA, and science. They did in the top 10 in every subject for that group of kids. The 8th grade is mentioned. They only test in math and ELA. They're in the top 3 in the state for both of those. Those are our freshmen. I know that Mr. Spry's licking his chops for English 1 and Algebra 1 scores that will be English 2 and Algebra 1 scores that will be coming soon from those kids as they move up. But it is what the biggest thing that I want you guys to get and for everybody to get is that it is a system. It starts from when they come in the door and they're 3 years old and they walk in the door for the first time at the primary school to the time that they walk across the stage at the end of May and they graduate. There is not, like I said, there's not end of the year high stakes testing at the primary school for as far as state testing is concerned, But if the primary school was not setting the students up the way that they do, none of the rest of this could occur. It starts there. And the rest of this is a result, and they just continue to get better every single year. So,
I think this is wonderful. And I know we're doing exceptionally well. And I'm just interested to see how it continues to roll over into high school, because those high school our elementary and middle school are doing exceptionally well.
yes.
But that high school and college level, the transitioning there.
That is correct.
Also vitally important.
So we've seen in the past, we've started already in this district, I think 7 years ago. Is that right? 7 years ago, and that started with kindergarten. So we did it district wide. So our current 8th graders have been using iReady from the time that they walked in the door, and as the strength was there in the primary, and then in the elementary, and then in the middle, you're now starting to see that strength trickle into the high school with kids, and they're more and more prepared. The scores from their beginning of the year already that they took second week of the school year are higher every year than they were the previous year at the beginning of the year. So our kids, I look at this with Mr. Shepard, he's got numbers on this. So our kids that are scoring beginning of the year 6th graders right now are scoring the same thing that our beginning of the year 8th graders scored 5 years ago. So we are 2 years further along within 5 years than we were. And now, as these kids get older, you can see our Algebra 1 and our English 2 scores, we're now way above the state average in both of those because those kids are getting older. And those numbers are only going to get stronger as they go on. The state asks the big, ridiculous number that they all gave us 10, 12 years ago is that we were going to be at 75% seeing better, at 75% meets and exceeds. People laughed at it because as a state we were performing at like 31%. They were like, nobody could ever get there. We're still 2 and 3 years out from that, and we're hitting that mark already in several subjects across the board.
Do they not have iReady for biology and U.S. history?
There's not. It is only ELA and math to do. But we've got some things up our sleeve that we're working on. We made sure that our principal here, he is a former science teacher, and so he is working with his biology folks on that. He's already got a couple of visits planned for some schools that are really doing really well in those subjects, and so we expect to see some of the similar growth with them over the next couple of years as well. And you saw the numbers for our 4th and 6th grade science; they're doing well, and and we continue to push those into there, that's gonna show up as well. The U.S. history is kind of weird because the only time our kids are tested social studies is when they take the U.S. history and of course exam. That's the only test they ever take in history. So there's not a lot of things that we have to show their progress moving forward. We do everything that we can to look at that. But we're right on state average, but state average isn't good enough for us. We want to be exceed that number in the future.
Good attitude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Okay, so appreciate that. Now on to our financial report from Andrew Mackey.
All right. Our financial report through August 31st. Our revenue is about $1.1 million. That does not include our August tax reports. We don't get those till about halfway through the next month, so I should get that hopefully in the next couple days. Our expenses through August are about $1.66 million. If you look at your 5-year report, both those numbers pretty much fall right in line with where we've been performing for the last 5 years. So there's really nothing out of the ordinary or unexpected through August. We did have a small unexpected expense with our football press box. We had some water damage with the tile in one of the rooms that we were looking at getting replaced. When the flooring company came in to look at it, they started to just pull up tile throughout the whole press box. So we went ahead and got that flooring replaced. It was about $7,300. They came last week and did it. So we've got new flooring in the press box. You know, small unexpected expense, nothing that's going to set us back at all. But just wanted to let you guys know that we've got nice flooring in the press box. So Darren, you'll appreciate that next weekend. Are there any questions about just our regular monthly finances? If not, I'll move on to capital projects. One quick update on our capital projects is our classroom furniture. It will be installed over fall break, starting with the primary school the first week and the elementary school the second week. We'll get new student desks and chairs and some soft seating for the floors. I know Charlene and Kelly are excited about that. I'm sure their teachers are. I may have mentioned it to my kids who are also at the primary school, and they were like super jazzed about it too. So hopefully we have some happy faces in October whenever we come back to school. Before I get into some of our upcoming projects or the sort of the priority of our projects, I want to jump into our funding we have available for capital projects, just so you guys know what we can and can't do. We have about $1.8 million in our district capital projects fund. That's money that just throughout the years of our operations, we've had leftover money moved over to a capital projects fund. So we've got some flexibility there, like let's say our local revenue with Tejean and stuff doesn't come in like we expect. We can pull some of that money from that capital projects fund back for our general fund if we needed to. So it's a little more flexible. We have about $540,000 remaining in some of our prior bond issuances. That has to be spent on capital projects. And then we can issue another bond for this year of up to about $830,000. That's more than we expected. Our debt service fund balance that's held by the county just over the years, grows incrementally every year. We were able to get about $1 million of that last year, and we've still got some left over. In working with our financial advisor with our bonds, his name's Mike Gallagher, we tend to agree that issuing the full $830,000 might not be a great idea. It's just a little more aggressive given some of our local revenue questions, but we could probably definitely issue $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, something in that range. So we've got about $2.3 million on hand for capital projects and a potential for about $500,000 or so more. So we do have some money to work with. Some of the projects we've been talking about and or that have been on our capital projects list over the years. Still working on pricing for generators. Given what happened in September, you would think these people would just be jumping at the bit to get generators out there, but I've had a hard time getting pricing. We've looked at portable generators that work on diesel, just trying to size that out to what we would need. And then I've also looked into the Generac, the permanent on-site generators. Two of the companies I've talked to only do residential, and I'm still waiting to hear back from a commercial provider. So still working on generators. The track bleachers we approved a few months ago. I've got concrete people coming out to do a pad here in the next couple weeks. Once the concrete's down, we'll be able to order the bleachers. The awning we discussed for the student walkway at the high school is $121,900 if we wanted to do that. The digital marquees we've talked about for each school are about $45,000 or so, but that's a high estimate. So that's saying like brand new from scratch, which we might have to do at the primary school because their sign is so old, whereas at the complex, the infrastructure's already there. There's already power to those signs. It'd be probably significantly cheaper. PA systems. Mac has done a great job getting these quotes for PA systems because we've got this included in our safety grant application with the state. Because it's a grant application, we sort of shot for the moon here to try to get like a really deluxe system. So these prices might be a little high. There's definitely some wiggle room there. We can scale back, but it's $297,000 at the complex, $147,000 at the primary school, and $130,000 at the elementary school. We've also had baseball, softball field improvements on our capital projects list for years. That list I've inherited. just new bleachers, doing something with the concession stand, to just try to improve that area a little bit. And then we've also got the next phase of our classroom furniture at the primary school and elementary school. You know, we initially went into this saying replace teacher desks, storage, student desks, the whole 9 yards. But the total quote for that between the two schools was about $975,000 by itself. The classroom furniture is about $425,000. So there's still some work to do there if we want to refresh the classrooms fully. And then some other projects that have bounced around a lot are resurfacing the parking lots at the elementary school and primary school. Interior paint at all schools comes up all the time. And then there's some other smaller things here and there. But that's pretty much the gist of everything that we've talked about on our projects list. So we'll definitely entertain some guidance from you guys on maybe some priorities or some things that you guys would like to see done. And then once we sort of firm up a list, I can talk with Theo Dubose, our bond attorney. He can build up some sort of resolution, and we can bring that back next meeting for you guys to vote on.
Have y'all have a list of what y'all think priorities are? Because all these things are important, and I have my ideas, but y'all deal with it every day.
I mean, the PA systems get a lot of complaints, especially at the complex, just because even though it's the newest one we have, it's probably the worst performing one. Bob can tell you, Lisa can tell you about it. I know Kelly Graham does not like her PA system at the primary school because it's really old and it's like, what's the old school phone operator, pushing buttons everywhere.
That's
But it actually,
priority.
but it actually
But it
works.
probably works.
It actually
better than
works
any
the
of
best. So I know PA systems gets talked about a lot, and it's a safety thing, which I'm sure Matt can tell you more about.
Do we have any idea how much of that could be offset through a grant? Or is that speculation?
It really depends on the state.
I think the state set aside it's $20 million this year, right, Matt?
20 million, and
For
in
safety.
past years, they put $1 million cap on each application.
Yeah.
But
So
we give a list of 3 priorities. PA was one, and ballistic film was the next one. Repeaters for radios was going to be the 3rd one, but we couldn't get a quote in before the deadline. The state can choose the PAs or the ballistic film. They can choose the PAs and cut it in half. It's really up to them what the state board decides to do.
So it's submitted and we're awaiting
Yes.
response?
The state board meets in November, and then they get the package from the Office of Safe Schools and the State Department. They give it to the board, the state board, they vote on it, and then usually by, I'd say January, February at the latest, we'll find out what they awarded.
So we received some money, I can't remember the exact number, but we did some additional cameras, the access controls. We used the safety grant last year, so.
That helped out a lot.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the principals, but we said marquees. That's a big,
Marquees,
I think that was big
that's
for
a
them.
priority.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
complex priorities,
Priority.
or complex marquees, there are a lot of things missing out of that.
Yeah, the bulbs are going out at the complex, and you can't replace individual bulbs. You just got to replace the whole thing. Now, like I said, the 45,000, that's probably for somewhere like the primary school, elementary school that have, you got to run power to it. You got to get a pole or a base. I mean, you're starting from scratch. So hopefully the ones at the complex would be significantly cheaper than that $45,000 number. But I like to shoot high on expenses and low on revenue, and hopefully we come out on the positive either way. So
But you're thinking $125,000 or?
yeah, I mean, that's probably where I would budget it. And then if we come under that, that's, that the $540,000 we've got remaining in bond issuances, that's from, things coming in under where we've budgeted. And then you can use that money for other projects.
That's what I was gonna say, so you already have that
Yeah.
approved and there, it's
Yeah.
in place.
Yep.
So that's basically just requiring action on our part.
Yeah, yeah. And then, all these things are over the dollar threshold where we gotta bid it. If it's not on state contract, we gotta bid it out and do the whole, song and dance, with the procurement process and our policy. So it'd be nice to just say, let's do it, and then tomorrow we could do it, but it takes about a month to go through that procurement process, but,
Can we suggest, or do we need to have the action of the board if we want something put before us next month on that, if we wanted to say, as far as the marquees go, get an official quote and a presentation for
Yeah.
approval? Do we need to just recommend that to you, and we just go forward and say, you'll bring something to us
yeah.
as soon as you can get it put together?
Yeah,
Is that-
yeah. I'll bring something more official next week. Like if you guys said, hey, let's go ahead and get marquees done, I'll work on getting quotes and bring something. And then, like let's say we used some of our money from a prior bond issuance. You have to look at to see what the project list is, how it's written in the resolution. Sometimes it's vague to just say general capital project. Sometimes it's specific. So if it's something specific, you'd have to make a motion to add it to that bond list. So I can definitely get that more concrete and official for next month.
Is that agreeable? I think so. To the board?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
What is the complex?
That's the.
Oh, middle school, high school.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that's,
Okay.
yeah, it's just what it's called internally.
Okay.
Took me a while too when I first started.
Yeah. So I was thinking it's not the multiplex. Why would that?
No, no.
Because really, until we get the grant information back, that's a moot point, really, until we know there, so.
Yeah, and we can, if we were going to issue a new bond issuance for this year to try to use some of the money we've got at the county, we could, I think typically we do that, we've done it as late as November, I think, so we still have some time to come up with a official project list for a new bond issuance.
But even like for the PA systems, if you were to do that, that would be a summer project, wouldn't it? I mean, you would almost have to do that when the buildings were empty.
Probably.
They said they can do it over breaks and at night, if they have to. Depending on how fast we want it done.
As far as maintenance vehicle and track bleachers.
Oh,
those-
yeah.
They don't have prices on them? Or
No, a maintenance vehicle, I mean, I think the truck we got last time was about 32,000, 34,000. We haven't exactly decided if we want another pickup truck or if we want another van. It's a priority, but I wouldn't say it's like a super high priority, so.
Okay.
But vehicles are on state contract, so that is something where I can call the guy, get pricing. All we gotta do is drive to the dealership, give them a check, drive the vehicle back.
Okay.
So we can move on that pretty quick. The track bleachers are probably, the ones we were looking at are just the same as the ones we have over here on the new field. I think they were 10 grand or so.
Yeah.
Small dollar items compared to some of the ones we're talking about.
And it says district office carpet replacement.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that one. Yeah, we got a quote from Joel's Flooring to replace the carpet in our district office. And it's, I have the exact number somewhere, maybe. It's about $22,000. It's a little less than $22,000. And that's just that carpet is,
Since Dr. Robinson built
Yeah,
the
if you-
district office, and
Kathy
that was
compl-
5 superintendents ago.
Kathy complains about it a lot.
Yes.
Kathy complains about it a lot, so.
It's dirty. We turn them over to clean it. Well, maybe it's not the original, maybe it's the second. It's the second. Second go. But it's all.
Just take it down to the
Thank
concrete.
you for the correction, ladies. That's all.
Yeah. So I think, sounds to me like obviously the marquees and the district office carpet are the things we would jump on initially. And then once we know more about the PA systems, we can follow up with those accordingly.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. I'll work on the marquee quotes and everything like that and have the bond information to you guys next month.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, appreciate that. Now on to safety, Mr. Mack.
All right. Emails packet, you should have the report for August. Let's see, primary school had 1 with an information report, elementary had 0. Edgewood had a vehicle collision that happened in their car line. High school had a vehicle collision that happened in the student parking lot. Alternative 0, transportation 0, baseball field 0, the multiplex 0, district office 0. Give you 3 for the month, which is down 5 from last month, which is down 3 from this time last year. A correction on the, when we go into drills and training, direction on the fire drills, you'll notice those are from July. That was my error, I apologize for that. But primary school had theirs on the 5th, elementary on the 1st, EMS on the 18th, and the high school also on the 18th because they do all their drills together. Fire assessments were also done last month on the 11th for primary, 12th for elementary, and the 15th for for middle and high school. Drop down to bus evacuations. Primary school did theirs on the 7th, and the middle school, high school did theirs on the 1st. Active intruder drills, they primary and elementary did their first for the quarter on the 19th and the 8th. EMS already jumped on their weapons detection systems for this quarter. And they did theirs on the 6th, and they did theirs at the bus drop-off. Scanned 110 students, or scanned 110 people. I don't know why it says 10 students there. But it was 103 students and 7 staff members. And detected 16 of the students. Updates and information. 19th High School home football game last Friday went security-wise, everything went well. It was believed to be a lot smoother than last year when we first implemented the safety protocols that we have in place now. Last Friday, it says last Friday, but on the 29th, as Angie was talking about, I submitted the application to the Department of Education for a safety grant, which the grant can only be used for safety-based hardening of schools and only buildings that where students occupy the school throughout the day, or the building throughout the day. So we asked for PAs and ballistic film to go on the exterior windows and doors of the school. Again, that's completely up to the state on what they give us. They can give us the PAs, but give us half of what we wanted, or they can just give us the ballistic film, but only half of what we wanted, so, or what we asked for. So that's really, it's up to them. It's all in their hands right now, unfortunately. There's a couple things when I went to SCASA on the 28th. The State Department has chosen to go with a company called Critical Response Group. This company does school mapping. So basically we send them floor plans. They take those floor plans, enhance them, and place them over a geographical image of our schools. That's for not only school personnel, but for first responders. So once they get it complete, our Greenwood County Dispatch will have those maps to where if something does happen, God forbid, they have that and they can know where to send law enforcement. That was from a proviso 1.6116, or excuse me, 1.116 in this year's DOE budget. The next one is school districts can now be licensors of certified security officers, which means district employed certified security officers now. But the state left it, the law left it completely up to board members and the superintendent on whether or not they would like to do that. They did reiterate that this is not a back door, in quotes, to arming teachers. Site assessments will begin this year on our first school safety grant that was in 2023 that was awarded to us. So there's going to be people from the State Department coming around and see what we've done with that first one. While I was there, a company called R2P did a demonstration on bulletproof doors. It was, in my opinion, great until we started talking about the price of them. And as you can see there, they're about $10,000 a door. I counted every classroom that is used in the school district, and that equates to being $1.27 million to do the entire school district. So hopefully at some point they'll lower the cost on that. But that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Okay, moving on, now we're on to policies with Ms. Kathy Anderson.
Okay. I know I'm last, and it's after 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna try to hit the gas. I heard y'all to stay with me, okay?
We're ready.
Because I know we're ready. All right. I hated like the devil to bring policy BE back before you, but when I got the legislative update, there were some significant changes to policy BE. So if you look on page 68, you have the current policy BE that you just approved, second reading of last meeting, and you can lay that beside the new policy BE, and you see the items in yellow. The new one starts on page 70, are additional items. So it put a cap on your board meetings not going past 10 o'clock unless extended by a majority vote for the board. And it also, that cancellation of meetings at the bottom, those 3 bullets are new. As well as on page 71, the broadcasting of every time, basically every time you meet and have a quorum, we've got to have a live broadcast, whether it's a budget workshop or a capital improvement workshop. If you're all together and it's a board meeting, then we've got the live broadcast. So this is first reading on this actual policy BE. Policy BEA starts on page 72. There is no current policy BEA because this addresses the live streaming of board meetings. We have been live streaming for quite some time, but the difference between that and this, the policies, the way that we're doing things now, is that you've got 48 hours to post that live stream up. If you got a technical difficulty, you got to have a backup where you can at least have an audio recording. And if it's an audio recording, then it's 72 hours to post that. So it's not going to be, well, okay, this doesn't work tonight, so we're stuck. I mean, we've got to have a backup and a way to post up. But the crazy thing about it is it also talks about some penalties if you don't post up and if you don't follow these rules. So the State Department has attached some penalties to it, and I included on page, let's see, back at the front of your packet where I started on page 65, that's the memo from the State Department that wants us to email them a copy of the policy. And we have until November the 5th to have 2 readings on this. And if we don't abide by the rule, then the consequences of all this are on page 67 under item 4, where it talks about first offense technical guidance, second offense a warning, and a written plan, and then persistent offenses could be assessed in terms of 1% of your state funds. So in other words, we got to get this right, and we got to do it by November. So I talked with Bob, and I think he's in a good place with that, since he's responsible for that. We just got to make sure we have a good backup in case something should go wrong. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, so we're moving on past BEA, and we're into the next set of policies. Unencumbered time, GLCE, that begins on page 77. You have the current policy. The current policy of unencumbered time affects K-5 teachers, And special ed teachers throughout the district is 30 minutes of unencumbered time required by law. This change is also another memo from the State Department about this particular item because it now applies to school nurses. So if you look at the current policy on 77 and 78 and look at the change, all they did was add the 30 minutes unencumbered time to nurses. So you just see in the yellow, you just see the nurse term and the existing policy being added. I get a lot of questions about why does this not apply to middle school, high school. We didn't write the law, and that's just the way we're having to implement the law that the legislature adopted. All right, questions about that? Okay, administrative rule, GCLE. You have the current administrative rule on 81 and on 83. You have the changes. Again, you're just adding the nurse in there. But note at the bottom of 83, you have an exception where you can say if a medical emergency exists that disrupts the ability to provide school nurses with unencumbered time, then you can say, okay, we have to have you. Something horrible's happened, and so we have to pull you off. But those guidelines there, those three bubbles there, are the only things that you can use to interrupt the giving of that time, according to the law. Policy JICJ, which begins on page 84, deals with personal electronic devices during school day. There is literally no difference in this and the cell phone policy that we adopted, other than the fact that they're in a different format. The South Carolina Department of Ed wrote their own policy last year, and pretty much so we had to adopt that policy. But it was not written by the South Carolina School Boards Association. So it couldn't be given a naming device like JICJ because it wasn't written by them. So this year, the South Carolina School Boards Association put that policy into the format of all of our other policies. And so basically, it's nothing but just format changes with that. Same policy you approved, just in the format. JICJR, administrative rule, this is new. There is an option because they decided that we needed to address what should happen first offense, second offense, third offense, fourth offense for kids that violate this. The option at the top of JICJR, I forgot to take those out. You'll have to forgive me, but our kids store their turned off devices in their book bags, and in their lockers. We don't have those Yoda devices where you put on the wall and hang your phones in them and all that kind of thing. They're cut off and they're put in their backpacks. So when that comes back before you, that will be added there. So it goes through there what the offenses are if these are violated, first, second, third, and fourth. It goes through the only exemptions are for kids that have 504s, IEPs, MLP kids, multiple language type kids. Those are your only exceptions to the rule. All right, so that's JICJR. GCQC, GCQD is resignation of professional staff. You remember when we have people in breach that we have held them in within a year. The department has decided and the legislature decided that since there was a teacher shortage, that you could be held in breach of contract and you would be penalized 6 months instead of a year. So that became effective July 1. So anybody you held in breach prior to July 1 fell under the 1 year. Anybody from July 1 to now would fall under the 6-month recommendation. So if you look at that policy on 89 that we have, and you look at the changes on 91, you see the 60 days that's highlighted in yellow. You see July 1 that's highlighted. And so that person that wants to be released has to inform you before July 1 in order to fall within the release. And so that's a little bit different of a time period than what we're used to. Okay, JH is student absences. You have our current policy on page 93, and you have in yellow all the different changes on 95. Basically, this goes through a big first 3 paragraphs about how important attendance is for children.
and how it leads to continuity of learning. It talks about how you should check attendance regularly and your excuses, where they should come from. It talks about being very quick about medical homebound, if you get ready to implement that. It talks about excessive absences and tardies. When they become a pattern, you pull together a group of folks to write an intervention plan where you address that issue. And it talks about if it continues through the implementation of the intervention plan, then you turn that over to the family court, et cetera, Department of Social Services, so forth and so on. On 95, it talks about the kinds of excuses that you can accept, and at the top of 96, it defines lawful and unlawful. The yellow piece under lawful, we have this new thing about this new law that career and technical students, such as those in FFA, can miss up to 10 days as part of their organization. And so that's why that is highlighted. So those 10 days it can't be more than 10 days for those folks, but they can have up to 10. And I also highlighted for you, suspension is not to be counted as an unlawful absence for truancy purposes. That's a new piece in our existing policy. So basically the policy is pretty much the same with lawful and unlawful. There's some changes in how the policy is written about the importance of attendance at the front end. Questions about that? JHR is the current administrative rule. That's on page 95, 97 and 98. And then you got the new one on 99. The only thing that is new from this old administrative rules to the new one is that they encourage not just a principal and a truancy officer to write an attendance plan. They encourage people from the community to be involved, like DSS, alternative schools, Beckman Mental Health. They encourage a community approach to writing those intervention plans, so you can get at the heart and soul of what is really causing the student the issues with attendance. And so that's why that's highlighted on 99. 100 goes into that career and technical organizational experience. Really, FFA is our only organization that falls under that list, laundry list, and I'll show you that in a few minutes in the next policy, but not more than 10 years. And then it goes into what you consider a valid excuse on 100, those 3 paragraphs. It ends up with forged excuses are reported or referred to the administration for appropriate disciplinary action. Because you could have kids, write their own excuses and things of that nature. And then on 101, it talks about how kids are allowed to make up work from absences, and it gives a time frame for making it up. It also talks about if you're a proficiency-based credit district, that means you have a plan approved from the State Department, that you could actually have a child take an exam if they missed tons of days, and if they pass the exam, they could still be awarded that Carnegie unit. And that's what that's all about on 101. Questions so far? Got a new policy, JHE, Career and Technical Organization Experiences. This goes back to those bullets right there, and they talk about Future Farmers of America, 4-H. We don't have any of those other programs currently in action. It's just the FFA. And it talks about up to 10 days of excused absences per the school year to participate in these experiences. And that's on 102. All right. 103 is your current JLCDB, life-saving medications. We do Narcan, we have EpiPens. So this is a little bit different twist. If you look on page 105, I know you're aware that DHEC became the South Carolina Department of Public Health. So every policy had DHEC in it. Now we got to change it to the South Carolina Department of Public Health. That's a minor change, but it's got to be changed. And so that's why that's highlighted. And then they go into a lot of different injectable medicines other than just the EpiPen and the Narcan there. They talked about, I hope I can get this right when I pronounce this, Adrenaclick and a generic auto-injector and a thing called Neffy. So they're broadening the medications that can be given. So 105, you have that list that's different and the different, South Carolina DHEC being renamed. At the part, 106, you have a sentence, this policy does not guarantee the availability of life-saving medication, and students and their parents and guardians should consult the physician regarding the medicine. In other words, we have some of this on site. We have some EpiPens on site. We partner with a doctor through a prescription to have that in case we have an emergency. And it's on file and it can be given to a child. We have Narcan that DHEC provides. We have that on site. But some of these other things we don't necessarily have on site unless we see there's a need for them. 107 is brand new. That's the administrative rule. Now you see all the different injectable medicines. EpiPens, Neffy is a nasal spray that can be used. Albuterol inhalers, you typically see that with asthma, COPD. And then you have Narcan. And so those are all listed there. That's a brand new rule where they list them. And notice on 108, in order for you to administer these medicines, you gotta be trained. And so the school nurse is responsible for training people to administer these medicines if they become necessary to be given to staff members or to students, or potentially an adult visiting school if something happens there. Okay? Questions about any policies and administrative rules? Anyone? Okay. So I'd strongly encourage you as you read through those, if you do have questions, I'll bring them back next month for second reading. Please give me a call prior to that meeting so I can have your desires addressed when I come in for second reading, which will kind of expedite things. So if you have things you want to discuss, I'm open to talking with you either in person, by phone, or through email. So please let me know. Let me keep rolling.
Yes, please go to personnel.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
before we dive into the approval of HIT tutors, I'd just like to say a word of thanks to the board. We heard all these wonderful test scores a little while ago. We heard how wonderful the staff was. We heard how wonderful the children were. But you have a part in this too, because you help set the salaries. You help us recruit and retain the best that we can find for our kids. And not only that, you keep those instructional accounts ready for the PD that we need to be using to develop those teachers. So you are a great member of our team, never to be underestimated, because without those salaries being right, I don't know if we would have the right people in the right places. So I thank you for that. It takes all of us to make this work. And so I'm really proud of the efforts of our administrators that sit in this room tonight. I'm proud of their teachers, and I'm also proud of our students. And I'm also proud of our community. Got a little dose of that tonight with Miss Goodman and her group. That's what makes 96 what it is that all those things work in conjunction for the better of these kids. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move into the approval of HIT tutors. Mr. Schoolfield shared with you last year what a HIT tutor was. High intensity tutoring. This is the second year that we've had these tutors in place. I think he's reviewed some data. He's seen that they are very successful. So tonight I bring to you two recommendations. Candidate A is a recommendation from Ms. Loudon School. This person is very well certified for the position that she's been recommended for and will be a great asset to that school. Candidate B is a recommendation from Mr. Shumpert School, and I echo that with that candidate as well. To have some folks apply that have those types of credentials say a lot for our principals that interviewed them and walked them through the school and how impressed they were, and their dedication and want to serve our kids, not somebody else's kids, but our kids. So I'm seeking a recommendation to employ candidate A and candidate B as certified HIT tutors.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so the board has hired Kimberly Durrell for 96 Elementary School HIT tutor, and they have hired Cheryl Womack for Edgewood Middle School HIT tutor position there. Dr. Taylor has the capabilities to approve classified HIT tutors, so I want to take a minute to go through the classified HIT tutor list with you that she has approved. She has approved the hiring of Owen Carter, Cruz Kennemore. I left list. Carver Davis, who'd I leave out, David? Eli Schofield, of all folks. And so those guys are cleared, they've been through payroll paperwork, and they are ready to go. And so our HIT hiring is done, finished, it's off the website, it's closed up. Now it's up to our principals to take those people and put them to work. So thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you. So,
You're welcome.
anything else?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gas on there, get out here.
Go to Park and Rec, go see a football game.
Last person clean up.
I got to
Y'all
move.
boys hit somebody.
Oh, my goodness.
See ya.
Thank you so much for the carpet too. It is not Gerald Robinson's house, we're thinking about Stan Powell's carpet. So he did his office and
Yeah.
Burgundy when he did that.
Uh-huh, yeah, absolutely.
Better for my sinus.
That's right, I get